Hello, beautiful souls. Happy Saturday. I hope you're all having a really beautiful weekend so far. And in today's video, I need to share with you a very specific download that I've been picking up for our collective. And I've been referring to the message coming through as a message related to your era of reciprocity. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that, but essentially, this era of your life is going to be entirely different from anything you've ever experienced before. And you have most likely come across this video in one way or another to essentially help to prepare you mentally and emotionally for this era when it comes in. So when you do encounter this video and listen to this, most likely you are already right in the middle of this era, or it's going to be happening for you very soon. This era of reciprocity, as we kept calling it at the beginning of the video. So as the name suggests, this is the era where you are going to be reciprocated with in a different way. And I need to share with you the vision that I saw for you this morning for this specific collective. Now, first of all, how you will know this is for you, because this message won't be for everyone. You will know this is for you, first of all, because even just hearing those words, the era of reciprocity, and hearing the little intro of this video, you most likely already had some kind of an emotional response or reaction. You may have felt some tears coming to your eyes. You may have felt this like jolt of emotion internally. You may have gotten goosebumps, or somehow just like had this flash of an image or a vision in your mind as I was saying those words. So that is one sign this reading is for you. Another sign is, well, I'm going to describe the group that I'm channeling into here so you can know whether this is for you. The group I'm speaking to here has a very generous spirit and is known for it, either in their friend circle, their community, or their family. And yet you've had this pervasive feeling of being a little bit taken for granted. Not that you ever give things with strings attached, because I feel like you are very generous and very open-hearted, but you've had this longing within you to connect with people who give to you in the way that you give to others. And yes, there is a material element to this. You are most likely someone who's always been very generous with their possessions. I'm hearing you would give someone the shirt off your back, like you care for others almost more than you've cared for yourself. Although I will say another sign this is for you is you've actually been on this journey recently of learning to care for yourself in the way that you care for others. So in recent years, you've been discovering how to pour back into yourself, how to love yourself the way that you love others. And this has greatly amplified your light. Like there is this light now in your aura that people notice, that people respond to, since you've been learning to pour energy back into yourself. And you've most likely noticed that this newfound light in your energy has been attracting some new positive attention as well. This could be compliments from strangers, people looking at you or admiring you when you're out in public, new opportunities coming in, people just feeling drawn to you. However, what I'm hearing is, for a while, although you've noticed that you've been learning to love yourself and you've been glowing differently as a result of that, you've still had this pervasive feeling of almost a kind of loneliness beneath the surface, because again, there is this part of you that is so craving to be loved in the way that you love others. And the reason that you've craved this is because on some level, you've always known that this was coming for you. I'm hearing that longing, that craving you've had your entire life to be given to the way that you give to others has actually been you sensing the futuristic timeline which isn't so futuristic anymore. It's here, but the futuristic timeline where that is happening, where you are being given to in those ways. And so I'm hearing that every time you were in a situation where you felt taken for granted, whether it was in a friend group, whether it was by a family member or romantically, whenever you felt taken for granted, you felt this disappointment and this sadness that was actually related to the fact that intuitively you could sense that there was a timeline, or is a timeline futuristically, where you were being fully met and fully supported. And so you were longing for that timeline in those moments. But I'm hearing that you weren't ready for it yet. It took time for you to be prepared to meet this timeline fully. And I feel that you had to learn to open up your receptive energy within yourself in order to actually receive these blessings and receive this love. And you had to heal some very, very deep patterns within you, specifically around receptivity, your ability to receive. I am getting something with like the left side of the body, which is like the receiving side energetically. And for many of you, you may resonate as well as a divine feminine. So you may have been healing your receptive energy as a divine feminine, learning how to allow specifically even the masculine to give to you, to show up for you, to support you, and to not feel guilty for receiving, for being loved, for being adored, for having not just your needs met. That's really a given, but really being worshiped and adored by another person. And of course, worshiping and adoring them in return. That's like that mutual worship that we talk about that is so beautiful when it exists in our friendships or our relationships. But what I'm getting here is that timeline you've always dreamt about, the one where you were being met where you are, where you were being given to in the way that you give to others, is here now. And I'm hearing you are ready for it because you're attracting it in. Because another sign this message is for you is that at times, even as you sense this timeline coming into form, you may feel a little bit shaky. You may wonder, am I ready for this? Because it's been so long in the making and you've experienced so many forms of connections where you didn't feel met, where you didn't feel appreciated, where people couldn't reciprocate with you. So now that that is changing, I said in a recent video, the tides are turning. Now that the tides are turning for you, you may feel a little bit shaky at times. You may have some old fears resurfacing, and that is completely okay. It's not a sign that somehow you're going to lose all of this. It's actually the opposite. The fact that you are attracting all of this in now, or going to be, means that you've shifted your frequency in a real way. It's evidence, it's confirmation that you've done that healing work within yourself, that you've opened up your receptive energy. So now you are essentially calling in and allowing the universe, lovers, friends, community, other people generally to support you in a new kind of way. Now, the message goes so much deeper than this. I feel that by now you probably know whether or not this reading is for you, but it goes a lot deeper because the vision that I saw for you this morning was almost like a boomerang. So I saw this vision of, and I'm going to do my best to explain this because, as you guys know, sometimes it's difficult to find words to describe some of these threads of energy that I pick up on and some of these more quantum messages. But what I saw in this kind of boomerang imagery is you giving to someone like your heart or your time or your energy or your love in a way that was not returned to you at the time, and thinking that it was a waste or thinking that it was lost. And I don't just in this vision see it happening once. I saw it happening many different times in many different contexts. Things that you gave, things that you did that may have never been appreciated and definitely at the time were not returned to you. And I saw that like the whole time the universe was keeping this hidden account of all of those things, even though you thought it was just lost. You thought you were just pouring into the void. And what I'm getting, I had to take a deep breath because this message is so big, but what I'm getting is now all of those things that you gave out are coming back to you. And not just that, first of all, they're coming back to you in a multiplied form. So like, for example, if you did a good deed for someone like a decade ago and you may have not received a thank you from the person, or they may have even tried to push you away or not appreciated it, even though you gave from an open heart without strings attached, you may notice that now someone does a good deed for you, or something happens to you that is oddly synchronistic, but multiplied, like even bigger, even more expansive, even more abundant than what you gave out to begin with. It's like that concept of planting a seed, or in the Bible, I was thinking of the parable of the mustard seed and how you only need to have faith the size of a very small seed, a mustard seed, and it will return back to you multiplied once it grows. And I feel like this is that season where those very small seeds that you planted that you thought were lost are now coming back to you multiplied. But as I mentioned earlier, the second aspect to this is they aren't just coming back to you multiplied, but they are actually coming back to you in synchronistic ways. So I'm hearing you're going to almost get these feelings of deja vu where, for example, you may end up receiving a huge blessing at like the exact geographical location or in a place where you once experienced a loss or a rejection, or where someone couldn't fully meet you or see you where you were. Like, I know this is a very specific example, but let's just say that this applies for you in love, which it doesn't have to be love related, although I do see that for many of you, if love is something that you're manifesting or wanting to attract in right now, all of the love that you gave out previously to people who couldn't meet you where you are is being returned back to you multiplied. So that is something to be aware of if you are manifesting in love. But again, it doesn't have to be love. However, in this specific example, I saw this scene where like you were at a certain venue, like on a date or out somewhere with someone who couldn't meet you fully and was not appreciating you or even making you feel deeply sad. And then I see you like months or years later happening to be at that exact same like venue or restaurant or location, except this time you're with a person. I see you like holding hands with a person who is so adoring and supportive and complimentary to you and who makes you feel so deeply loved. So I know that's very specific, and of course you can take this to apply in different ways, but there's some element of synchronicity where there will be signs, like when these things return back to you, they come back multiplied, but also with signs and synchronicities, almost like the universe is giving you little winks here and there, like winking at you saying like, you know, this is exactly where you felt rejected, and I'm coming in to resolve to balance out that account and to give to you in the exact ways that you felt rejected in the past. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards and channel a few final messages here. But I just want to say that if you are in this energy, I am so thrilled to be on this journey with you, because what is happening at this point in your spiritual journey is truly nothing short of monumental. And you've been the one who has accomplished this shift. Because again, I'm getting that message about how you had to heal so much within yourself to become receptive and open in this way. I'm also hearing as though many of these areas of your life where you are going to be receiving back in some kind of way actually felt heavily delayed. So you most likely thought to yourself, wow, I feel so behind in love or in money or in career or with my body or, you know, whatever it is. You may have felt very behind, but ironically, that whole time you felt behind or delayed, you were doing the work that no one else or very few people on the planet were doing, which was going within and healing the pattern from the inside out. So now you've shifted to this higher level where everything you're attracting in now is going to look so different from what you've attracted in before. And what I'm hearing is when it comes in, let yourself trust it and let yourself lean into it and believe in good things for yourself. That may be the main takeaway message, is to believe in your worthiness of these things when they come in. Because the sense I get about some of these blessings is some of them are going to seem so sudden, so wonderful, and so big. They're going to elicit this like happy tears kind of emotional reaction out of you. And then you're going to wonder, what did I do to deserve this? Or how can I possibly attract or sustain something this amazing or this beautiful, or like a person that is this loving? Like, how can I be worthy of this? But you are so worthy of this. And I'm almost getting a little emotional here, but what you need to know is you wouldn't have attracted this in if you couldn't sustain it. You wouldn't have met that person or attracted it in if it didn't mean that there's been a shift in your energy and your frequency. You wouldn't have attracted that moment of success or that abundance that came in or whatever else is coming for you if you were not quote unquote worthy of it. You've done the work to be able to sustain this. You are so, so, so worthy. And that is just something that I want you to remember, to really, I feel like I'm hearing the hardest part of this part of your journey because it is so beautiful. It's so magical and wonderful. It sounds silly to say, but the hardest part of this phase of your journey is going to be simply letting yourself be this happy or be this abundant or be this loved. It's going to feel almost a little bit ungrounding, like, how did I deserve this? Can I sustain this? But you can. You are ready for this because you prepared yourself for this. And I'm sure if this reading is for you, you can look back on your life and see how you've been preparing yourself for this, because that's been a really active process for you. So I am still shuffling, but also I do want to share with you that personally, subliminals have been really helpful on my journey. I am part of this collective with all of you, so I experience many of these shifts along with you in my own life. And that is part of why I so love and adore our community here, because I feel like we're supporting each other through those shifts and changes. But I started using subliminals many years ago when I was in a place where I was really struggling with my own sense of confidence in myself and struggling to find my voice. And I am so grateful that beginning to reprogram my subconscious mind with subliminals began to open so many doors for me. And ultimately, I began creating them myself. And to this day, I still meditate with my own subliminals app every single day, because I find that it really resets my energy. It puts me in like this magical energetic space that is so beautiful, where I feel like I'm just flowing and dancing with the universe, and I love it. I even often listen overnight while I'm sleeping and wake up feeling just so aligned and energized, and just meet with all of these amazing opportunities during the day. So I love sharing these subliminals with all of you as well as part of this journey, and they are available through my Subliminals app. So the name of the app is Sound and Soulful. You can find it just by searching in the app stores, but I'll also leave a direct download link to it underneath this video, and that will be in the pinned comment and description box. But if you've been going through these shifts and changes, I really have a couple subliminals to recommend you. And of course, you can make your own custom private playlist in the app, so you could add multiples of these to a playlist. But I am telling you guys, the quantum shift subliminal I've created recently is so, so powerful. I added it to my sleep playlist, and I woke up to so many positive changes and shifts in my life within even just like the first couple hours of my day. This one has been so powerful for me, and I would love for you to try it for yourself. I just created it, I think about a month ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. This is meant to really help you facilitate these quantum leaps happening in your life and push them even further to manifest more success, more abundance, whatever it is you desire, to align more with your soul's purpose, to manifest in your highest timeline in love, in friendships. I really made it a goal with this subliminal to tie in as many different areas of your life as possible. There are, I think, about 100 affirmations in this one. So it's very, very all-encompassing and will really help you to shift your mind in a way to take these quantum leaps towards whatever it is you're desiring right now. So if you do want to try out that subliminal or any of the others I've created completely free for 7 days, when you create a trial account, then you can sign up by clicking the link underneath this video. So let's go ahead and pull just a few final messages. By the way, I am really happy to be coming on with more mini readings. I've just been feeling all of this positive energy lately and really wanting to share it with all of you. So thank you for showing up and being here with me. Now we have Angel of Strength. Yeah, you are the version of yourself needed to meet this timeline. Keep your heart open. Don't let your mind get over involved with the heart chakra card here in the upright position. I'm hearing your open heart is what keeps you buoyant in a way. Like if you think of floating on top of the water as like floating up to your highest timeline, letting go of that resistance, letting go of that fear that makes us close our hearts seems to allow you to rise to that higher level here and naturally, effortlessly sustain that higher level of vibration. I feel also that, and this probably deserves a whole separate video sometime, but there's something about how so much of the world is trying to accomplish or to do or to embody the kinds of things that you are accomplishing, doing, or embodying, but they are trying to do it by closing their hearts, and you're doing it by keeping your heart open. And some of these people or forces may at times almost like try to convince you to close your heart or make you believe that somehow you have to close your heart to succeed or to get love or to be abundant or whatever the case is, to sustain certain things. And that's where the mind can get over involved here, like where the mind comes in and wants to say, oh no, like we can't have our heart this open and be successful or abundant or happy or loved or whatever. But you can, because you're creating in the 5D, you're creating in a totally different dimension. These people who are trying to create from heart closure, from keeping their hearts closed, are on a totally lower level. They're creating from 3D. You're up here in 5D. I'm getting that quote about not taking directions from people who haven't been the places that you're going. But I would say even further, the places that you already are, because you already are in this fifth dimensional space. You're a pioneer here. So be cautious of who you accept advice from or like energy from, because there are very few people on this kind of a level that you are creating from. You are showing the world that success, abundance, love, all of these things can be created and sustained with an open heart and authentically and from a higher level. And that is part of why it's taken you longer than others. It's part of why you felt delayed, because you're creating in a totally different way. It can't even be compared to what's been done before. So I hope this reading inspired you in some way. If so, let me know what you think in the comments. Did this relate to you at all? Have you been experiencing any of this? And of course, if you haven't yet, I would love for you to subscribe and turn on notifications by clicking the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post new videos like this. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, and you can listen to my channeled music under my artist name Songs by Infinity, which is now streaming on Spotify. So the links to everything are below. Of course, the link to my Subliminals app is also below in the pinned comment as well. Otherwise, I am sending you all huge amounts of love. Have an amazing day, and I will connect with you here again in the next video.